The stars shined cold and silent over the blue-skinned aliens known as the Valkyrie. For over 10,000 years they had lived in peace. Their ships moved through space without weapons. Their worlds knew no war. The Valkyrie built their lives on sharing and working together. Their greatest leaders were the elders who had lived for hundreds of years and shared their wisdom. Elder Zorith stood by the large window in the council room. His skin had faded from bright blue to pale gray, with age. His 4 eyes blinked slowly as he looked at the star map. A red dot blinked on the edge of Valkyrie space. "The sensors have found something," Zorith said. His voice was deep and calm, but worry showed in his eyes. "A ship we do not know has entered our space." The 12 council members shifted in their seats. None of them had ever faced a true threat. "Show us," said Verline, the youngest council member. The star map zoomed in. The unknown ship was small but moved fast. It did not look like any ship the Valkyrie had ever built. "I have seen this design before," Zorith said, "in the old records from the Centauri Alliance, before they disappeared." He touched the controls, and images appeared. "These are humans. The Centauri warned us about them before they lost contact with us." The council room grew silent. The images showed beings with pink-brown skin, hair on their heads, and only 2 eyes. They looked strange. To the Valkyrie. "What do we know about them?" asked Ambassador Terral. "They are clever," Zorith said. "They solve problems in ways we would never think of. They build machines of war. They fight among themselves. The Centauri said the humans were dangerous because they never stop wanting more." Ambassador Terral stood up. She was tall and her blue skin still had the bright color of youth. "With respect, Elder, these records are very old. The humans may have changed. Our way has always been to welcome others with open arms. We should not judge them by old stories." Zorith shook his head. "Some species do not change their nature. The Centauri were much like us, peaceful, trusting. They welcomed the humans and then—" He paused. "We never heard from them again." The room filled with worried voices. Some agreed with Zorith. Others sided with Terral. "We cannot hide from the galaxy forever," Terral said. "We should meet these humans." After hours of talk, they made a choice. They would send a ship to meet the humans. The ship would carry no weapons, as was the Valkyrie way, but it would be ready to run if needed. Captain Nyleth felt uneasy as she guided her ship, the Harmony of Stars, toward the human vessel. She had never met aliens before. Few Valkyrie had. She remembered Elder Zorith's warning, "Be kind, but be careful." "The human ship is sending a message," her communications officer said. "It's in a strange language, but the computer is learning it quickly." "Put it on the screen," Nyleth said. The face that appeared made Nyleth gasp. It was just as Zorith had described from the old records. Pink-brown skin, hair on top of the head, only 2 eyes. The human smiled, showing white teeth. "I am Captain Alan Wright of the Earth exploration ship Horizon," the human said. "We come in peace and friendship." Nyleth took a deep breath. "I am Captain Nyleth of the Valkyrie Collective. We welcome you to our space and hope to learn about your people." On the horizon, Captain Wright could barely hide his excitement. His heart raced. After years of searching, they had finally found intelligent alien life. "They look amazing," said Communications Officer Gary Lopez. "Blue skin, 4 eyes, those strange patterns on their faces." Science Officer Susan Miller studied her screen. "Their ship is huge, Captain, at least 3 times our size. But I don't see any weapons, no shield generators either. It's like they built a giant space yacht." "Perfect," Wright said with a small smile. "Send the first contact package, let them know we're friendly." Miller looked at her captain closely. "You don't seem surprised by their appearance." Wright's smile faded a bit. "Command briefed me before we left Earth. They suspected we might find something like the Valkyrie out here." "Earth already knew about them?" Lopez asked, surprised. "Let's just say we've heard stories," Wright said. The important thing is making a good first impression. We want them to trust us. Engineer Ben Rogers entered the bridge. Captain, I finished the scan of their ship. Their technology is incredible. Their energy systems are like nothing we've seen before. And their computers, they look almost like they're made from living tissue. Wright nodded. Earth Central will be very interested. Very interested indeed. The Valkyrie ship sent another message. They were inviting Wright and a small team to visit their ship. Accept immediately, Wright ordered. Miller, Lopez, you're with me. Rogers, prepare the shuttle. As they prepared to leave, Rogers pulled Wright aside. Do you really think this is safe, Captain? We don't know anything about these aliens. Wright patted the engineer's shoulder. We know exactly what we need to know, Rogers. They're peaceful, advanced, and trusting. He lowered his voice. And they have no idea what humans are capable of. As the human shuttle approached the harmony of stars, Elder Zorith sat alone in his chamber on the Valkyrie homeworld. He looked at the old Centauri warnings again. The final message from their once great civilization echoed in his mind. The humans came as friends. By the time we understood their true nature, it was too late. Zorith closed his eyes. I hope we have not made a terrible mistake, he whispered to the empty room. The meeting room on the Valkyrie ship glowed with soft blue light. Living plants grew from the walls, giving off sweet smells. The floor seemed to be made of something like clear glass, but it was soft under their feet. For the humans, it felt strange but peaceful. Captain Wright and his team stepped carefully into the room. Science Officer Miller kept touching her scanner, trying to understand how the room worked. Communications Officer Lopez looked around with wide eyes. The fourth human, Olivia Carter, watched everything with a quiet smile. Her job was to learn about the Valkyrie way of life. Ambassador Terral waited for them. Her long blue arms were spread wide in welcome. Behind her stood 6 other Valkyrie, each wearing simple white clothes with different colored marks that showed their jobs. Welcome, humans of Earth, Terral said, bowing low. The Valkyrie are happy to meet new friends among the stars. Wright copied her bow not as deeply. Thank you for having us. Earth is excited to know the Valkyrie and learn from you. The Valkyrie offered the humans food and drink. The food looked strange. Purple fruits and green paste, but tasted better than anything the humans had eaten in months of space travel. Your ship is amazing, Miller said as she ate. How do you power it? A Valkyrie with green marks on his clothes spoke up. We use the energy of stars. Our collectors can hold the light and heat for many years. Miller's eyes lit up. Without burning any fuel? That's incredible. Can you show me how it works? Over the next few days, the humans asked many questions. They wanted to know about Valkyrie, ships, their star maps, and how they made their living computers. The Valkyrie answered everything openly. They had no secrets. The Valkyrie asked questions too. They wanted to know about Earth music, stories, and why humans like to compete with each other so much. You have no sports? Carter asked, surprised. No games where someone wins? Why would we want someone to lose? A young Valkyrie asked. We work together to make life better for all. Carter wrote this down in her notes. No concept of winning or losing. Potential weakness. Back on the Valkyrie homeworld, Elder Zorith read the reports from the harmony of stars with worry growing in his heart. The humans ask too much about our power systems, he told the council. They want to know about our living computers, but only how they might be used to aim weapons. Council member Verline waved her hand. You worry too much, Elder. The humans are just curious, as any new friends would be. Curious is one thing, Zorith said. But these humans see chances to take things where we see chances to share. Remember what happened to the Centauri before they disappeared. On the harmony of stars, Captain Wright and Carter talked in private. Their whole society is built on sharing, Carter said. No one owns anything. No one tries to get more than others. They don't even have a word for mine or yours in their language. Wright nodded. That explains why they have no weapons. They never needed to fight over anything. It makes them easy to deal with, Carter said. But also easy to trick. They don't understand how humans think. Wright smiled. That will make things simpler for Earth. Don't you feel bad? Carter asked. They trust us completely. That's their choice, Wright said. Our job is to get what Earth needs. Wright sent a message back to Earth. The Valkyrie have advanced technology but no understanding of defense or trade. Recommend immediate expansion into their space before someone else finds them. The message reached Earth in 3 days. The answer came back in 3 more. 5 more ships on the way. Begin talks about trade deals. Find out what resources they have. Soon more human ships arrived. The Valkyrie welcomed each one with open arms. They did not notice that each new ship carried more hidden weapons than the last, or that the new humans asked to visit more Valkyrie planets. Elder Zorith saw what was happening. They are spreading through our space too quickly, he warned the council. Soon there will be humans on every major Valkyrie world, but most of the council still trusted the humans. They bring us new ideas, Verleen said. New art and music. They want to trade with us. Yes, said Zorith, but what will they take in return? 6 months after the first meeting, humans had visited 12 Valkyrie worlds. Earth companies began setting up offices on Valkyrie planets. Human scientists studied Valkyrie technology and sent the secrets back to Earth. And deep in secret rooms on Earth, military leaders looked at maps of Valkyrie space. They marked the best planets, the richest resources, the places where humans should go first. The Valkyrie have no idea what's coming, one general said. They're like children. Children sitting on a gold mine, said another. And we need that gold. 1 year passed since the humans first came to Valkyrie space. Things had changed quickly. Human ships now moved freely through all Valkyrie star systems. Earth companies built offices and factories on many Valkyrie worlds. The first human colony started on a moon in the Valkyrie home system. At first, most Valkyrie were happy with their new friends. Humans brought exciting new things: music, art, games, and stories of Earth. But slowly, some Valkyrie began to notice problems. Elder Zorith called an emergency meeting of the council. His skin had grown even paler, and his hands shook slightly as he showed images on the big screen. Look here, he said, pointing to pictures taken from space. The humans say this is a research station near the blue gas cloud, but our observers saw weapons being moved inside. The council members looked worried. Ambassador Taral, who had once been the strongest supporter of humans, now frowned deeply. I have bad news from many worlds, she said. Human businesses are causing problems. They take resources but give little in return. They have a strange idea called ownership that goes against our sharing ways. Council member Verleen, who had always dismissed Zorith's warnings, now nodded in agreement. Perhaps we should tell the humans they cannot expand anymore until we solve these problems. The council voted and agreed. Ambassador Taral would tell the humans about the new limits on their activities in Valkyrie space. 3 days later, Taral met with Lisa Johnson, the main human representative. Johnson wore a tight smile as she listened to the Valkyrie's concerns. I understand your worries, Johnson said when Taral finished speaking, but I must remind you that Earth has interests in this sector that predate our formal contact with the Valkyrie. That is not true, Taral said, her 4 eyes blinking in confusion. No human had ever entered our space before Captain Wright's ship. Johnson's smile remained fixed. Our records show otherwise. In any case, I will pass your concerns to Earth government. Earth's answer came quickly. Admiral Betty Nolan of Earth's space fleet delivered it personally. She stood tall in her dark uniform, medals shining on her chest. While Earth respects the Valkyrie Collective, she said in a cold voice, we cannot accept one-sided restrictions on legitimate human activities. We have historical claims to several star systems now under dispute. This was a lie, but it served its purpose, giving humans an excuse to keep expanding. Captain Rick Taylor, commanding the warship Lightning, received new orders. Stay in position. Show force if needed. More ships coming soon. On a mining moon, the first violent clash happened. A group of Valkyrie blocked the path of human mining machines that were digging up rare metals. The human security team used sound weapons that hurt. Valkyrie ears badly. 50 Valkyrie were injured. News of the clash spread fast through Valkyrie space. Many Valkyrie were shocked. Violence was something they had never experienced before. Elder Zorith spoke to his people. We warned about human aggression, but we did not prepare properly. Now we must protect ourselves while still seeking peace. But the Valkyrie had no experience with fighting. Their defense systems were old and weak. They had no warships or weapons, as human military vessels moved into key positions throughout Valkyrie space. The peaceful aliens faced danger unlike any in their long history. On the human warship Lightning, Captain Taylor watched his crew prepare weapons. "Sir, are we really going to attack them if ordered?" asked his young first officer. "The Valkyrie haven't actually threatened us." Taylor's face hardened. "Our job is to secure human interests, Lieutenant. Earth needs the resources in this sector." "But they were here first," the officer said. "This is their home. They're not using their resources efficiently," Taylor replied. "They have no concept of progress or growth. They've been the same for thousands of years while we've reached the stars in just a few centuries." The lieutenant said nothing more, but doubt showed on his face. Meanwhile, on Earth, the news showed a very different story than the truth. The media talked about securing human settlements and protecting Earth interests against alien interference. Few people on Earth knew that humans were the real invaders. In her private office, Admiral Nolan looked at the latest reports from Valkyrie space. Resource surveys showed incredible wealth, rare metals, special gases, and unique biological materials. But the most valuable prize was the Valkyrie technology itself. "Their living computers would give us a 100-year leap forward," she told the president of Earth. "And their star energy collectors would solve our power problems forever." "What about the Valkyrie themselves?" the president asked. "Will they resist?" Nolan smiled coldly. "They don't know how to resist, sir. They have no concept of war or conflict. By the time they learn, it will be too late." Back in Valkyrie space, Elder Zorith looked at the stars from his window. He remembered the final warning from the long-lost Centauri. "Beware the humans. They come as friends but stay as masters. Their greatest weapon is not their technology, but their endless hunger for more." Zorith closed his eyes. "We should have listened," he whispered to himself. "Now we must learn to fight, or we will disappear like the Centauri before us." 5 years had passed since humans first came to Valkyrie space. Everything had changed. Human companies now controlled most of the important resources. Human ships guarded the trade routes that the Valkyrie had used for thousands of years. The once peaceful and united Valkyrie Council was now split into groups that argued with each other. Some younger Valkyrie wanted to learn human ways of fighting. Others still believed in the old, peaceful path. No one could agree on what to do. Elder Zorith, now very old and mostly ignored by the council, gave one last speech to his people. "We have lost more than our lands and resources," he said in a weak voice. "We have lost our way of life. Many of us now think like humans, wanting to own things, not sharing, ready to fight. This was never about star systems or mining rights. It was about two different ways of living that cannot exist together." Ani so. Earth. People had different feelings about what was happening. Some marched in the streets holding signs that said, "Leave Valkyrie space," and "No more alien exploitation." But others celebrated Earth's growing power among the stars. In a closed meeting room deep under the Earth government building, General Harry Wilson spoke to the top leaders. "The Valkyrie have technology we need, especially their living computers. Their complaints about our methods don't matter. They either accept the new reality or they become history." Dr. Mary Adams, who studied alien cultures, tried to object. "We're destroying a civilization that has lived in peace for thousands of years. We could learn so much from working with them instead of taking from them." The general just laughed. "Peace doesn't build empires, Doctor." The leaders noted her concerns but ignored them. The breaking point came on a Valkyrie world called Nelthara. Humans had brought their money system to this planet, and many Valkyrie couldn't understand it. In their world, everyone shared everything. The idea that you couldn't have food or a place to live without this thing called money made no sense to them. Some Valkyrie became angry when they saw their people going hungry, while humans lived in big houses with extra food. They gathered outside a human company building, holding signs and calling for a return to the old sharing ways. The human governor of the area called for help. "The aliens are getting hostile. Send security forces." Captain Julia Nash of the Earthship Defender got the call. "Send in the control teams. Use as little force as needed." But little force to humans was still shocking to the Valkyrie, who had never experienced violence. The security teams used noise weapons, flash bombs, and electric sticks. Hundreds of them, Valkyrie, were hurt, and their meeting hall where they had shared songs and stories for centuries was burned down. All across Valkyrie space, people watched videos of the attack. For the first time ever, the Valkyrie began to understand two human emotions they had never known before: fear and hate. In his small room on the edge of Valkyrie space, Elder Zorith watched the videos with tears running from all four of his eyes. A young Valkyrie named Zalith came to see him. "Elder, we must fight back," Zalith said. His blue skin was bright with youth and anger. "We have studied human ways of war. We can build weapons too." Zorith shook his head slowly. "If we fight like humans, we become like humans. Is saving our bodies worth losing our souls?" "If we do nothing, we will lose both," Zalith answered. On Earth, a human scientist named Sam Cooper worked late in his lab. He had been studying the living computer parts that had been taken from Valkyrie ships. His research team had made a major breakthrough. "If we can copy how these biological circuits work," he told his boss, "Earth will jump 100 years ahead in computer technology. We can build thinking machines that will change everything." "Excellent work," his boss said. "The military is very interested in your research." Cooper looked troubled. "I didn't develop this to make better weapons. The Valkyrie use this technology to make art and music, to explore space, to help their people, and we'll use it to secure human dominance in the galaxy," his boss replied. "That's progress." That night, Cooper couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the videos he had seen of the Valkyrie being attacked on Nelthara. He made a decision. The next day, he copied all his research files and sent them through secret channels to a Valkyrie scientist he had once worked with. Attached was a message. "I'm sorry for what we've done. This technology belongs to your people. Use it to protect yourselves." When the Earth government found out what Cooper had done, they arrested him for treason. But it was too late. The Valkyrie now had back the secrets of their own technology. Zalith and a small group of young Valkyrie began building something in secret, the first Valkyrie weapon. Based on their living computer technology, it could shut down human ships without killing anyone. "We will not become like them," Zalith promised. "But we will not disappear either." The breaking point had been reached. For the first time in their ancient history, the Valkyrie prepared for war. 10 years after humans first came to Valkyrie space, the Valkyrie Collective existed in name only. Their home stars were now called the Valkyrie region, run jointly by Earth leaders and the few Valkyrie who had adopted human ways. Elder Zorith, one of the last traditional elders, lived on a small moon far from his homeworld. A small group of Valkyrie who still followed the old ways lived with him. Humans mostly ignored them, seeing them as harmless old aliens clinging to the past. One day, a human came to see Zorith. Her name was Dr. Jane Foster, a writer of history who wanted to tell the story of first contact. "I wanted to hear your side of the story," she told the old Valkyrie. "Many humans now question how we treated your people." Zorith looked at her with his 4 tired eyes. "It was not hate that destroyed us, but simply that our ways could not exist together. Your people cannot help what they are, just as we could not help what we were." "Could things have been different?" Foster asked, "if we had listened to the warnings from the beginning, not just about humans, but about ourselves? We were not ready for a universe where not all beings share our beliefs." Zorith sighed. "The sad part is not that we met humans, but that we met them before we understood the dangers of the stars. On Earth, some things were changing too. Captain Nash, now Admiral Nash, spoke to new space cadets. Our takeover of Valkyrie space taught us important lessons about how to deal with new aliens. We gained technology and territory, but we lost something of our humanity. When we meet the next alien civilization, we must show more respect and control, not just take what we want. In the audience, a young officer named John Reed listened carefully. Years later, when humans met the warlike Dracon aliens, it would be Admiral Reed who remembered the Valkyrie lesson and chose to talk peacefully instead of showing force. Far away, on a hidden planet, something important was happening. Descendants of Valkyrie refugees were building a new society. Led by Zelith, now old himself, they kept their sharing ways while learning about defense and innovation. They called themselves the New Collective, and they prepared for the day they would meet humans again. Their most important book was The Elder's Warning, the wisdom of Zorith and others who had seen the danger coming. This time, they would be ready. But for the original Valkyrie Collective, the warnings had come too late. Their peaceful civilization became a sad story told across the stars about what happens when you meet humans without being prepared.